everyone, it's Kathy Zilski back with another installment of Easy with me, CZ. Today I'm going to show you this card and explain how grounding is a wonderful way to tie disparate elements together and create a beautiful card. Let's get into the project. I'm starting out today using the Simon Says Stamp A2 layer stencils. There are multiple stencils in this set, and I'm using the smallest one to create a grounding area for my design. You can do this with any shape of stencil, whether it's a circle, a square, a rectangle. You can also die cut shapes to do this as well, but the idea here is that I am creating a grounding space upon which to build my design. I'm working with rainbow colors that are basically analogous colors because they follow one another on the color wheel and in the rainbow, and they blend together beautifully. Plus, once they dry back, they will be smooth and, well, they'll almost look airbrushed. And they're going to work great with the colors of cardstock that I have chosen for some more of my elements, which are some florals that I die cut off camera. Isn't that pretty? I used the delicate Wildflowers die set to cut out some flowers. I used doll pink, a little bit of creamsicle, and some green leaf. And now I'm just bringing in slightly darker ink colors to blend onto the cardstock itself to add a little dimension. This is a really easy little shortcut to get that extra bit of stepped up dimension for a really cool look for any of your die cuts. So if you've never tried this, you got to give it a try. It's kind of foolproof, I must say. Just get a darker color and start blending it on over your cuts. And then this will give me some beautiful flowers that are just a little more dimensional. They are very delicate, but I think this is a really good choice with the colors. And again, everything dries back beautifully. Next, I'll stamp my greeting and a little sub-greeting as well. And I'm going to do all of these at once just to knock them out together. I plan on using gold embossing powder, but first I'll take my anti-static powder and prep the cardstock just to remove static and oil. And I'll grab my embossing ink and we'll go ahead and ink up the stamps and stamp it down. I'm only going to stamp this once. I didn't want to overstamp and I didn't want to press too hard with the Misty Door. I think this will be good, and now I can add my Simon Ultrafine Gold. And that, at first I didn't know if it stuck, but then a gentle tap and there it is. I always do this over a piece of paper. I just have some cheap copy paper that I use, and I always wipe down my paper with a little Swiffer cloth so I can use it again with a different embossing powder color. Easy peasy breezy. Here I'm just wiping away any little errant flecks of powder and then melting the powder with my heat tool until it's smooth, golden, and shiny. I love that delicate smile. It's such a pretty greeting. And now we get to cut out all that shiny goodness. I'll clean off my stamps really quick, just with a damp stamp chamois, pop it back into my little holder, and now we're good for die cutting. I'll run that through the machine. And now I'll take my little magnetic wand, which I love because it just lets me pick up the metal dies off of my mat. And I'm going to go ahead and cut out 2 more shadow layers of the smile that I'm going to stack behind just for a little bit of dimension. So I'll go ahead and do that off camera, and now we'll glue. So silicone brushes, cut off the ends. They are great for quickly adding glue to die cuts. You tap in the bristles, you kind of pounce it around, and quickly tap on little dots of glue all over your die cuts. Simon Says Stamp has some of these, they're basically basting brushes in the shop. You just carefully cut them down to about 1/4 inch and you can do the same. I think this is a really fast way of adding glue. There's so many ways to do things, but since I discovered this, I've been having fun doing it because it really does work quickly and it holds. So if you've never tried this, give it a try. I'm also going to use it on my little teeny tiny Yor, but I think it works better on larger cuts just because the bristles can pick up those teeny tiny cuts. But I was getting as much use as I could out of the glue, and it worked just fine. And I was able to stack these all with no oozing, and that was good to go. It cleans up quite easily. I just use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol that I keep in a spritz jar, and you just can clean the bristles that way. You can use a baby wipe, or you can go right to the sink with hot soapy water and wash the bristles that way. For building the blooms, just a little dab of glue is all you need. I think I put these together a little wonky, but honestly, it doesn't really matter because they're just, it's nature. Nature isn't perfect. Nature is a little wonky. It's beautiful, but it's also a little wonky. But once I got everything down, it's nice because there's just that extra little bit of depth to the center of my flowers because of the peony ink that I blended on. And again, it's just a very easy way, this tone-on-tone ink blending, to step up your die cuts just a little bit. So we'll glue all of the blooms onto the stems, and you can really see that different depth of color on the stems where I blended at the bottom. We'll glue these on and glue that on as well. So this is, easy paper piecing die cut assembly, right? But the point of the video, and I do have one, is to ground everything on a blended shape. So that's the general look. I knew that I wanted to bring this panel size down a little, so I grabbed one of the A2 rectangles from Simon, popped it on. Love that crop. This is a 3 3/4 by 5-inch cut. I got everything off so that I could really make sure that this was perfectly straight, and then I went ahead and cut that out. I popped it up onto a white note card, and I did add some thin foam squares to the back of my greeting. I wanted this to be elevated just a little bit, mostly because I want to be able to put the flowers easily behind. But you can see here how having the shape as the grounding element, and by the way, I put some of the Pawsitively Perfect glue into one of the squeeze bottles that I like to use, and it works great with those too. But here, I'm popping it down. It's coming out of the boundary of the blended rectangle. I love that look. Honestly, if I just put the greeting and the smaller sub greeting, that could be a finished card in and of itself. I actually think that's a really cool minimal look, but got the grounding, right? So I'm going to fill it up. So I'm going to add my flowers in just to get a little something, something. But the cool thing about creating a space to basically contain your elements is you don't have to contain them completely in that element. It looks really energizing and exciting to have elements sort of explode, if you will, a gentle explosion, out of a given space, while at the same time, that space is giving them a home, a place that is grounding everything together and really gathering all of your elements into a beautiful unified whole. And that is really the beauty of grounding. So I'm popping on the little Yor, and then we're almost done. I think we'll add a little bling. So let's get some little pearls on here. I love these tiny little pearls from Gina K Designs, and we'll just boop some of them down. 5, a nice odd number, and that finishes out the card featuring grounding. But you can kind of see how everything is held in by that shape. The blending is very pretty, but also subtle in the background. And that finishes out the card for today. I hope you give this grounding technique a try on your next card. You can find a link to the blog post for this installment of Easy with CZ, and I'll see you back here with another card project next month.
I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.